Before the video starts, I want to quickly shout out the Patreon. Link to it is in the description. All tier benefits will be on there for you to see. There are badges for each tier. And the same goes for YouTube members. Just shout out to Patreon. And shout out to the patrons. Now and then on to the video. Shout out to my girlfriend who helped establish the Tremendous Nation as a actual nation. What's up, Tremendous Nation? It's Tristan here, back on Roblox for another Loomian Legacy video. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to get every single thing in the Part 2 update of the Jolly Village 2024 event. So, starting off with the raids, of course, which is right behind me. If you just join Jolly Village through the Hubs tab, the Navigate tab, then you go to Hubs. Jolly Village will be right here. You can see it in white. You click Join, and then it'll take you into the server, and then you'll spawn within this area, and then there's this little bell thing area, and you can go up to this, and then you can do the raids here. So, then you can go to host, and then as you can see, there are both Celestine and Icicle raids here. And if you haven't done them yet, then this is what you will see. Both of them just show normal, and there are other options that are locked. So, basically, I will teach you right now how to beat them, how to solo them each. So starting off with the Icicle one, you're gonna want Elwana, Crackloa, and Cramboss. I will go over these sets with you. Starting off with the Elwana set, we're doing Frail because we don't use any melee attacks. Very robust to live as many hits from Icicle as possible. And Sluggish because we don't really mind losing speed. And then the ability, we are doing a Lightning Rod to be immune to its Thunder Chomp, because the Nightmare raid has Thunder Chomp, and it might go after you. And even if it doesn't, I'm pretty sure Lightning Rod baits that Thunder Chomp when it uses it to attack you, and then you get a range attack boost from it, and you can do more damage. Now, for the moves, we're doing Gamma Pulse to hit as hard as possible. Hit it specifically as hard as possible. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but these sets are going to help you with soloing them. I've actually soloed it so many times with these Loomians. Not just Icicle Raid, but also the Celestine Raid with those 3 Loomians that I will talk to you about in a moment. So anyways, we also are doing Luster Loot, which you should be using a lot more often than Gamma Pulse, because it's going to keep hitting you and you're going to want to keep healing. And then Rejuvenate is also there if you get way too low and you need to recover as much health as possible as quickly as possible. And then there's Magnify to set up so we can do as much damage as we can to it. Which, you really need Magnify. And then for the TPs, 200 melee defense to live as many hits as possible from the Icicle. 176 health to be as bulky as possible to live in even more hits. And then the 124 energy TPs gets you to something. I'm not sure. I will put it up on screen. There will be numbers next to the amount of moves you can use. That's how many moves you can use with the energy. And I'll probably do the same thing for the energy for all these other Loomians. Now, moving on to Crackaloa, we're doing Frail because we aren't using any melee attacks. Very robust to live as many hits from the Icicle as possible. And Sluggish because we are very slow and also it sets up Bane of Haste, so we actually outspeed it then. And then for the ability, we're doing Territorial. By the time next year comes around and 2025 raids happen, if there's a better Loomian, I'll probably update this and get rid of Krakaloa. But as of right now, this is one of the better Loomians because when it soul bursts, it turns into Fire Spirit typing, which resists 3 of the 4 moves that Ice Eagle uses. That being, I'm pretty sure, Electric, Dark, and Ice. Yeah, those are the 3 typings that it resists when it soul bursts and becomes Fire Spirit typing. So, unless we get more Fire Spirit typings in the future, or just generally newer typing that isn't weak to Spirit, but still resists those 3 things, then that would be the only case that this gets changed out. But if that doesn't happen, then you want to keep doing this. So then next year, when the ISO raids return, and aka like Christmas 2025, which is crazy to think about, but Territorial is going to turn into Scorching Skin. So then, if it hits you, there's a chance that you'll burn it. And then onto the moves, we're doing Flare Blast to do as much damage as possible to the Ice Eagle, and it's actually weak to Flare Blast. Then we're doing Rejuvenate for recovery, Burn Up to set up and do more damage, and then Raging Flame is just there to make it do less damage and also weaken it. And also to waste one of its special mechanics, which is where it can remove its status condition. And then onto the TPs, 200 melee defense to live as many hits as possible, under 20 health to live as many hits as possible, and also then, it's more like the health is leftovers, but the energy TPs, I'll put that on screen now. That's however many moves you can use. Then the leftovers go into health to be bulkier. And then onto the final Loomian, we have Cram Boss. You're gonna want to watch out for the normal raid with the Cram Boss, because the normal raid has Blaze Stomp on it, while the Nightmare mode doesn't. So the normal one, if you have to do it to unlock Nightmare, then you're gonna want to be careful, because it might hit you with a Blaze Stomp, and if it does, that might not be good. But I actually, on my friend's account, Ralph, his username is Ralph. I did the entire Part 2 update for him. I got everything in it for him, and on my second try, I beat it. I lost the first time around. That was actually partially because my Cram Boss died to Blaze Stomp. And then I did it again. I got lucky, and I got it done. And I actually got the frame, the Ice Skull frame. That's a new item that didn't come last year, but is there this year. I got it on the first try that I beat it, aka the second time around. I lost that first time, and the second time I beat it, and I got that frame, which is the prize from the Ice Skull raid. That if you have beaten Ice Skull already last year, then you obviously want to go back and do the raid again, the Nightmare or Base, because you want to get that frame for your profile. And on the normal raid, it's 10% chance to give you it. I rolled it on his account the first time that I beat it on normal mode, which is pretty crazy, but And then it's 25% chance to get on Nightmare mode. And then also, speaking of the new profile card stuff, there are 2 other ones multiple other ones in this update. And so there is a Celestine background on the Celestine raid. It's a 10% chance from the normal mode and a 25% chance from the Nightmare mode. And then there is a background that you can get from Milo from buying all of his stuff. I'm probably gonna impose me getting that background from Milo right now on screen. Yeah, I will. And then there's the vault prices. I give you profile cards and stuff as well, and I'll go over those here shortly. But yeah, moving on. We're doing Brawny 2 as hard as possible, robust to live as many hits from the icicle as possible, but very clumsy because we're using any range attacks. And then for the ability, we're doing battle armor specifically. You get this from having playful on like a Kyude. And we're doing it so that we can get oh, I didn't even realize that it makes it immune to secondary effects. So I guess we are immune to those from Icicle, which is nice. So like if it hits us with a Thunder Chomp, we can't get paralyzed. But the main reason we're doing this is the metal type attacks are boosted by 25%, meaning one of our moves, this move that you'll see here called Vice Jaws, which is 80 base power metal melee move. It becomes stab basically because it gets boosted by 25%. So we're using a stab move that hits the icicle super effective, and that's exactly why I'm doing it. So speaking of moves, yeah, I already talked about Vice Jaws. It's the best move that we have to attack icicle with. Then we have Square One. You want to have a Square One user on your team against any raid, because by the time the raid is over, it will start setting up on you as a special mechanic. Like, if it gets down to its last health bar on Nightmare mode, it's going to get +2 melee attack, range attack, melee defense, and range defense. So you're going to want to Square One, and then it'll get rid of all those boosts. And then we also have Bulk Up as our last move to live even more hits and do more damage to the icicle, which it's very useful. Doing it on Ralph's account, and also I think it might have been my main account. I set up the +6 after Square One-ing. Yeah, after Square One-ing. You don't want to set up before Square One-ing because it'll get rid of your stats too. But yeah, I set up the +6, and it does basically no damage to me. And then I just one-shot it with Vice Jaws. So yeah, that's those moves. And then onto the TPs. 200 melee attack to hit as hard as possible. 200 health to be as bulky as possible. 80 melee defense TPs are leftovers. And the 20 energy gets you to 265 energy for something, which I will show you on screen right now. You'll see, obviously, how many moves you can use, and that's why we're doing those TPs. So that's for the Ice Eagle raids. And then on to the Celsing raid, we want to do Soul Burst Florent, because it hits it super hard, and it hits it for super effective, and Celsing has 19 melee defense when it Soul Bursts, so then yeah, you can pretty much just kill in one move. But yeah, for the personally, we're doing Clumsy and Sluggish because we don't care about our speed or range attack. And then we're doing very clever to be as range bulky as possible, with as many hits as possible from the Celestine. And then the ability doesn't matter because we're just going to go straight up and Soul Burst immediately. And then onto the moves, we're doing Mega Chomp as our only attacking move because it hits Celestine for super effective damage. Then we got Bulk Up to set up to do more damage against the Celestine. Then we got Photosynthesis and Take Root as recovery options. Then onto the TPs, 200 range defense to load as many hits as possible. 188 health TPs to live as many hits as possible as well. But it isn't full 200 because we have 112 energy for something, which I will show on screen right now. And now with that done, then moving on to the second Loomian against Celsing, I'm doing a secret ability Mutagon. However, if you don't have a secret ability Mutagon, you can also do Metatoad. I will show you on screen the TPs and stuff. And you'll see obviously how many moves you can use. The sets on the screen should be self-explanatory though. Onto the Mutagon. We are doing Brawny to hit as hard as possible. The item we want to do normally Heavy Shield, but if you don't have the item, it's fine. Then obviously we're doing the secret ability. Heavy Fist, do as much damage as possible with our moves. Now, there's only 2 moves you need here. That is Mecha Punch to hit for super effective, and it gets boosted by 50% with our ability. And then Brawn Boost to set up and do more damage. And then for the TPs, we do 200 range defense to live as many hits as possible from Celsing. 120 melee attack TPs are leftovers, and to do more damage. Then 180 energy gets you to 334 energy for something. And of course you want to make sure these are all leveled up. I'll show you, I'm probably showing you on screen already what these are for. And then the final Loomian for Celestine and the final Loomian overall is Mraith. So for the personality we want to do Brawny as hard as possible on the melee side, of course. Mraith has a good attack stats on both sides, but you want to do specifically melee attack because, the Celestine has 19 base melee defense, but it has 114 base range defense. So you don't want to try and hit on the range defense. You want to go all in on the melee attack because you're going to do nothing to it if you're using a range attacker. So, yeah, there's that. And then Clever to be as bulky as possible, to live as many hits as possible from the Celestine. You can do either very clumsy or very sluggish for the bad personality. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I just got very sluggish first, so I rolled with it. I didn't want to spend more time rallying. So whichever one you get first, very clumsy or very sluggish, it doesn't matter. Just make sure it's Brawny, Clever, and one of those 2 bad personalities. You don't want to lower your melee. Well, I mean, if you're using it only for Celestine and you're not using it for like PvP or something, then I mean you're fine to use a very tender or very dull or something. No, not very dull because that would not do too well against the energy TPs. Yeah, moving on to the ability, we're doing Reflective to be immune to the light moves that Celestine has, which has basically 3 of them, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it has Gamma Pulse, Luster Loot, and then its soul move called Miracle Beam, which is also light type. We become immune to all 3 of those moves from Celestine. So if it hits us with the light move, we just become immune to it and we direct it away. And that's happened to me so many times on Ralph's account while I was doing the raids for him, while soloing it, and then Celestine just kept trying to hit me with it, and I was immune to them, so I easily took it out. And then anyways, onto the moves. We're doing Bamboozle as our strongest move against the Celestine because it hits it for super effective, and it's a melee move. And then we're doing Square One because you need to have a Square One user for each raid because it sets up near the end, and then it becomes super hard to beat. So you want a Square One to make it easier for yourself and to give yourself a better chance. And then we're doing Far Enchantment to live more hits from the Celestine, which I actually used it in my battle with Ralph against the Celestine, and it was so super useful. It really helped me. And then Bulk Up, of course, to do more damage. I was going to say also to live more hits, but Bulk Up gives you a melee defense increase, not a ranged one, so the melee defense increase doesn't matter, but it does let us do more damage. And then onto the TPs, 200 range defense to be as bulky as possible, 200 melee attack to as hard as possible, and then 8 TPs and the health are leftovers to be bulkier. And then 92 energy TPs gets us to 257 energy for something. You will see on screen what that is. And with that being said, that is it for all you need to know about the raids. And you already seen on screen what what the items are that you get from the 2 raids. What items you want to get. So just use them as I told you to, and everything should be fine. Moving on to the next thing, in the update, they also secretly added corrupt roamer backgrounds. So if you go in the wild and you find a corrupt roamer and you kill it, then you will get a background for that specific roamer, which is pretty cool. W from the dev team. But also moving on to the next thing in the update, there was one rally move to come out of it, is Psychoblast Picolio. Now, if you want to know how to get it, basically, make sure you have an empty move slot like that, so that it can learn the move, and then you get a Psychoblast user, and then you go over to Mr. Rally. Where is he? I don't see him because there's all these idiots around me. I'm just kidding, I don't hate these guys. I don't have a problem with them, but yeah. You put the Loomian with Psychoblast in the leader slot, then you put your Picolio or Jimby in the assistant slot. After some time, it will show up with Psychoblast. And just like that, as you can see, it has Psychoblast. And now your Picolio has Psychoblast. This was given to it by Jamie for the Carol ability, as you can see here, for beating Ray's Venilin, so that you can easily use Carol to level up your Loomians faster. Now I'll take these out of here. Yeah, now you know how to get Picolio with Psychoblast. And on to the final part of the update. There is a Atayaga reskin in the wild over here. If you go over here on the bridge, you can see there's grass everywhere, which you probably already knew that. But if you didn't, that is where it is. You can find an Atayaga reskin. It's a hot chocolate thing, like with a straw or whatever. I'm putting it on screen. Its base odds are 1 in 2,048, but with boosted odds, it is 1 in 256. In the wild, of course. So that is how you get that. You just hunt in the wild, and you will find it with those odds that I told you about. 1 in 256 with boosts and charm. With just charm, 1 in 1,024. With just boosts, 1 in 512. And base odds, 1 in 2,048. And that is how you get the Atayaga reskin. And then moving on to the final part of the update, we want to go over to the maze here. And once you go into the maze, you're going to have to look around for 4 masks that will have numbers next to them. Kabunga, Dusket, Twilight, and Ikizune. Those are the masks. They will have numbers next to them. You want to have those numbers saved, because once you get those numbers, then you want to go to Mr. Jolly's house through the path, and you want to go into his house, and then there will be a specific room with a vault with these numbers that you have to put in there. And then once you put those numbers in there, you can turn the vault, and then you will go ahead and you will get yourself a prize. There is 4 prizes. You can get first a Grimuline frame, and then a Celesting frame, and then 10 boost tokens, and then a brand new disc, the Celebration Disc G, which is just a reskin of the Ace disc. So it will never fail, and it is free. With that being said, that is it for the video. Like the video if you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Really quickly before the video ends, I actually want to tell you a little bit else that they did in the update. They also added peppermints to crates. You can get 5 peppermints. There is a chance you'll get the peppermints, and if you do, it will be 5. They increased the amount of peppermints in the maze from 30 to 35. And then they also increased the amount of peppermints that you get at the end when you exit from 25 to 40.
But yeah, with that being said, that's it for you guys. So see you next time.